Since they can see it now for 2 days.
Oh my gosh, does Ollie know?
He does that.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, I'd like to call the Town of Rochester Town Board June business meeting to order. If you could all stand for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you do the roll call?
Councilman Coleman,
Here.
Councilwoman Suisa. Here. Councilman Nguyen is absent, Supervisor Noah.
I'm here. So the first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the agenda. So I'll make a motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board, this is where it went. Ready?
I gotta write my notes. Yes.
Accepts the agenda as prepared by the town supervisor with the following amendment that we will add a discussion of health insurance. In the discussion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries. So just a note for the board and the public, we have a quorum present, but we only have a quorum. So in order for any motion to pass, all three of us have to vote in favor. So a 2-to-1 vote would be a failed motion. So this is our business meeting. We start out with a bunch of reports. Then we will have the public comment portion of the meeting. Tonight I scheduled an executive session for 7:30 p.m. So no matter where we're at in our agenda, at 7:30, we will go into executive session. We will be leaving the room for that. So we will leave the room open. The stream will be on, we'll put it on mute. But no board activity will happen starting at 7:30 p.m. from when we exit executive session, which I think will be about 30 minutes to an hour. So just wanted everyone to be aware of that. So first off, we have the financial reports. So I've submitted to the town board and the town clerk the financial reports for the month of May. These are also available for the public at the link that's at the top of the agenda for the Google Drive link. Just the kind of high level notes about the financial reports. The general fund took in $182,689.15, and our expenditures for the month were $238,431.93. Highway fund saw an income of $8,434.88 as revenue, and our expenditures for highway fund for the month of May were $234,818.70. I did do the operating transfer from highway to capital. So capital funds, the only activity in capital fund was a revenue of $80,020.07 because that includes interest. For ambulance fund, we did do a payment in the month of May. So total revenue was $28.18 of interest, and expenditures were $54,917.50. Street lighting saw a revenue of $1.35, and our expenditures are $547.77. So for the board, I sent you that in a a single PDF file, has all the financial reports, including our budget versus actual. So this is 5 months into the year. It's starting to represent a good snapshot of where we're going to be for the year. So we will actually be starting budget talks, but the budget process is going to start in July. But it's good to get a good hold of where we're at. So that's for you. So supervisor's report, I only wanted to share one correspondence that came to me. At first I thought it was meant for the planning board, but it was addressed to me, but I wanted to share it with the board. It's basically a complaint about an upcoming project that's going to take place on towpath. So right where the deep hole swimming is, there's a venue being built, and I will share this letter with the board. I have to scan it in, but there's some legislative ideas in here and just some concerns that I think don't apply to the planning board right now, but they might apply to policies or legislation that the town board might want to enact. So this just came in yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to scan it in. For my just general supervisor report, I wanted to report that grievance day was held on May 26th. It was held over till May 29th. And I got to bring my report. Let's see. I've got the numbers. I was going to share those numbers with the board. Go. There was a number of grievances, as the board is aware, also stipulations, and I believe they have a breakdown of the numbers here. So there were 170 grievances, 158 stipulations, and 1 correction. All determinations from the Board of Assessment Review have already been sent out to the grievers with the determination, so that will all be reflected in the final roll, which will be published on July 1st. But again, anyone that did put in a grievance or stipulation should already know the outcome of that process. And there was a reduction overall, I believe, of $31 million. So 328 properties were reviewed, of which 265 properties received a reduction in assessments, close to $31.7 million. This whole process has been an undertaking, and I know that there are many different viewpoints of this process that people have, but I think going through it and seeing this is really what a reval looks like. And I believe one of the things we kept saying is a big chance to make sure your property values are correct is to apply for to be seen before the Board of Assessment Review. And I think this is evidence of the responsiveness of both the assessor's office and the Board of Assessment Review to reviewing and accurately assessing those properties. So I would like to thank the Board of Assessment Review and the assessor's office and everyone in town for going through this process with us. And we will look forward to the final roll being filed. And then we will have a better idea of what our assessed value is for the town. Last week, my office attended a training for bookkeepers and municipal officials It was a financial training and a policy training. It was really great. It was held in Marbletown at the Rundown Municipal Center, put on by the state comptroller. I and my staff, I think really got a lot out of it and learned some things, including the fact that in addition to auditing the bills, each month I will be submitting the bank reconciliations to the board because it's recommended that the board reviews those as well. So that isn't something that had been on my radar. We've never done that as a board before, but
Except for all accounts. So you'd want mine?
no,
Oh.
I think, well, it's just the ones that I oversee.
Oh,
So, because we usually don't review any of your account information. And I've also I printed out for the board, but our bank balance statements so that you can see where we're at. We have, well over $2 million in cash, but those are across all of our funds. And more revenue planned to come. So the second training that we I attended with Councilman Coleman. It was put on by the County Health Department in partnership with Ulster County Emergency Services. It was a disaster preparedness training for municipal leaders to really get us thinking about how we should be prioritizing disaster preparedness and thinking about it policy wise, legislative wise, and also how we are connecting with each other. Part of the training, it was a 4-hour training, and at the end, we did a tabletop where we went through a disaster and sort of assessed where we're at as a town and how we would respond in that situation, and identifying the holes in our in what we currently are plan to do and know to do in those instances. And then we created like a 30, 60, 90 day, what are you going to do after this training? So I put that at the end of the agenda because I wanted to share with the board what I came up with after that as what our priority action should be over the next 2 months, because it was really great to go to this training, and it made me really realize how important and what a high priority it is for us to make sure that we have a really good plan in place and that we have really strong relationships with the other agencies in town that are the first responders. They gave me one of these, I'll pass it around. It's the disaster preparedness for municipal officials. I can copy it, but it's really helpful. And I also got a bag of swag.
All right.
Second sentence.
I speak my language. Love swag.
Yes, well, there's a go kit in here.
I was gonna say, I get like all my like to go first aid or like Band-Aid packs. Or
Yeah,
like
this is-
sanitizer.
Yeah, it's a go kit, so, and there were 14 municipalities there, so it was great to hear from other municipalities. And like the city of Kingston was there, and they obviously have a much bigger population, bigger budget. This is something they've been working on for a long time, and the knowledge sharing that happened was very incredible. So the next thing I just wanted to share is every month we have a department meeting that's supervisors and department heads where we come together and we discuss, town business, departments. And we had that meeting yesterday. I thought it was a really good meeting. And I just wanted to extend my gratitude for our leadership in town for being so dedicated to, good, I would say excellent government operations. And recognizing the challenges that we have in resourcing our department so they can serve to the best of their ability. So I go away from those meetings feeling very energized to work together with everyone to resolve issues and to continue to improve government operations. So that is it for me. Kate, do you have a town clerk tax collector report?
Brief one, for tax collection, I will be closing out Monday with the county. And then I'll have final numbers to you by the end of June. For town clerk for the month of May, $53,099.10 were collected. I have received 2 resignations. One is from Sheila Brown. What was her title? Was
A
it just
cleaner
a cleaner?
and after school
Recade. And then we received a resignation effective immediately from Councilwoman Alexis Alva.
and the one for Sheila is a special thing that I can explain to the board.
Yeah, so she just retired from the school.
Well, yes, that's kind of part of it. Had to.
Yeah,
do
Yeah, I
that
figured,
to-
yes.
I will explain that to the board.
I figured there's
Um,
some type of.
And those 2 resignations, do you want me to explain? With Board of Elections?
Sure.
should I say? So I spoke to Board of Elections. This will be a position that will go on this year's ballot. Since the Democratic Party does theirs by petition, if they choose to hold a candidate, they will have to have a special meeting for that, like a caucus. And the Conservative Party is holding theirs next week, and there is no indication that the Republicans will be having party lines November, but it will be on this year's ballot.
Okay.
And we could still appoint to
You
fill
can
the seat,
appoint
but there's
somebody
just the election.
Till the
For the
vacancy,
6
yeah.
month.
But it would just to finish out this year, and that term ends January 31st of 27, so it would be a year term. This is the fill
That's my
Aaron's
position,
position.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking it wasn't a position either.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did reach out to Alexis to thank her for her service and everything she's contributed to the town and to the board with her time. So we have gratitude for anyone that serves. It's not an easy thing. It takes a lot of time and it's, it's always a work involved for all of us. Especially board members who have, careers and families and children. So I just wanted to thank Alexis for that. Department reports. So highway report, I don't have a highway report. The 2 things that I would like to share though are the Voicemail Road Bridge is like super red flagged. So it had been closed to pedestrian traffic, but apparently pedestrians had been ignoring that and walking across the bridge. And I'm going to make this known, and the highway department, I've made it more, they fenced it off, but that bridge is at risk of collapsing under its own weight at this point. So it is a very unsafe structure. People should not be under the bridge, around the bridge, on the bridge. So we got a very strong warning from the DOT regarding doing a better job safeguarding that structure. And I'm reaching out to everyone who lives in that area to let them know how important it is that they not even go like under the bridge.
What bridge is that?
Voicemail. It's being replaced this year, but
We should do laminated signage there.
yeah, I think they put up a fence, but I haven't been
Right.
able to go check out what they did.
I was
Maybe
thinking,
there's-
can we put
it's
it as a
really
discussion item
detailed.
later, because I have some thoughts, so on.
Yeah.
Creative things that we could do to make sure
Yeah.
that it's safe and blocked off.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Like our Margaret, so.
Sure, other matters can encompass.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna leave myself out on other matters to just bring up the Voicemail bridge.
And then we did advertise the bid package. That's on the contract reporter. That is a 300-page bid document. And there have already been contractors who've been signing up for that list, the contract reporter, you like subscribed to the bid. So there was a flurry of interest when it got published, so that's a good sign. I have a report from the Recreation Department. So this is from Recreation Director Ashley Sweeney. Tomorrow is the last day of Town of Rochester after-school program for the year. The Recreation Department would like to thank the after-school counselors for an excellent school year. Thank you, Lisa Babcock, Jennifer Connor, Sheila Brown, Samantha Ridiak, Lacey Freer, Aidan Lasher, and Eliza Thetke. Registration for the 2026-2027 school year will take place the last week of August. Please call the Recreation Department for more information. Our next Walk for Wellness will take place on Monday, June 22nd at the Walkway over the Hudson. Ooh, that sounds fun. We will meet on the Highland side at 9:30 a.m. All are welcome and encouraged to attend. Please call the Rec Department if you have any more questions. Don't forget to bring water and wear red to support heart health. Summer staff CPR training will take place on Monday, June 29th at the Harold Lipton Community Center. So CPR training is required for all of our summer staff. Summer program will begin Monday, July 6th. At this point, trips are booked, and we are ready to roll with approximately 40 kids and 9 counselors in the program daily. Save the date. Heritage Day will take place on Saturday, October 3rd from 12 to 6 p.m. on Main Street in Accord. The Town of Rochester Recreation Department will once again host our Jenny Bell Pie contest. We hope to see you there. Okay. And Councilman Nguyen is absent, and so we don't have a town justice court report. So I will move on to board and committee reports, starting with Historic Preservation Commission and.
Okay, so for the Historic Preservation Commission, this Saturday is the Farm and Inventory event at 10 a.m. here. That is where the group of farmers have spearheaded this idea of collecting the data of operating dairy and chicken farms in the town of Rochester, and they'll be placing those on the map. They also have scheduled a pre-Revolutionary War Stone House bus tour for July 12th. There will be more details to follow on that. There will be 5 homes in the town of Rochester that they will be going to, and I just think that's a great start to the summer with promoting the Revolutionary era. And let's see. Anything else? I think that's all I have for now.
Okay. Councilwoman Smitha.
You. I did not get an elder care report this month, from Constable Miller. For the Housing Advisory Committee, I was just getting all of their stuff up, so they are working on, they had an interview for someone who had expressed interest in joining the housing committee, which I think that they have either, or they are about to this week, conduct and then have as an item. So at our next meeting, we might have an appointment recommendation from them, or might not. But I believe that it is on their discussion for their meeting next week, so the interview's happening before then. And then, they've kind of started to form little subcommittees naturally, like out of like assignments. They're not really subcommittees, but like there are certain members working on certain tasks and certain working on others at this point. So some are working with doing reach out to ECC or oh no, what is it? I forgot what it is now that we merged them. Did I say the right one?
Yeah.
Okay, we got that title, okay. For reaching out to like the newly merged ECC and seeing how, like, opening up the conversation about how conservation and housing can work together in our zoning code or in general, and how they can promote that as a thing together as committees. Since the ECC and Climate Smart have been doing so much work with the Rooted in Rochester. And also it's a conversation that comes up a lot, that they're normally butting heads of, issues of priorities for a certain lot or things like that, so they wanna see how they can work together, and I think also on the parcels identified in there, in the original CPP plan, it's trying to make sure that they're not all of the same parcels are the ones identified for both lots, potentially, and then they also want to start doing some research on, land banks, for us, and potentially getting some GIS training or education.
Why wouldn't they?
I have no idea, Michael, maybe because you've done GIS for years.
Sure, I thought anytime they want.
And then I will leave, and yes, and so they're working on that. I think that they're also looking at other creative ways to create, funding for housing and like get funding for the town for housing, and then also for different types of campaigns they can do in town to help promote different forms of housing, like for instance, long-term rentals of different campaigns they might be able to do to try to promote that over short-term rentals in the area, since there's so much promotion of that available already. So that is them. I'm gonna leave the other update about housing in general to supervisor for later. And then for the Rotary Club, we will be doing our chair project of redoing all of the wooden and leather or cloth armchairs here at the community center and also at town hall, and we are going to redo the arms for them. I am gonna take this bad boy home with me tonight to just see the exact inches of, so I can get exact numbers for the material for the seats that we need on them. But yeah, we're very excited to do the project. We're gonna be doing on the 16th. We're gonna come pick up the chairs and move it off-site. That way, if they're doing anything for prep for summer program, or if anyone has an event or anything, since it's a weekday here, yoga's happening, we don't wanna be sanding and having, chemicals and stain and stinking up the community center, so I have a very large garage that's a workshop, so I offered to do them at my house. It also has a pool, so we're having a pool party out there if anyone wants to join. And so we're very excited to do that project. We also have some fundraisers coming up for the Rotary Club that I'll let you guys know about. And we are currently probably by the end of June, we will have finished and submitted a grant for we are writing for a grant for Stewart's gas cards for the amount of volunteers at the Accord Fire Company. And then after we can successfully get that one done, we're gonna do it again in the fall for the Kerhonkson Fire Company. The one on in, Tech Rochester area. And then again, we're gonna try to keep it like quarterly to keep doing it for a different fire company, but we should hopefully have the first one for them done, which will donate the cards to the fire company and they will divvy them amongst the members and however they determine, if someone's active, blah, 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 whatnot, but specifically for like the volunteers that are renters, we said that we wanted, like we've heard back from public comment here. They wanted to make sure that since we're a nonprofit and comply with the right, that we did that one. So that's happening, and we are also, which I might be coming to you for some info on, Kate, we're also doing some history walks on different rail trails in the Rondout School District. I think our first one's gonna be down in Rosendale on the trestle and the cement plant. Where it's just gonna be a nature walk on the rail trail, probably like less than a 2-mile like loop in there and back, and you'll get to hear an in-depth history on the different things along the trail there. So I'll keep you guys posted when we get the actual date for that scheduled. I think they're looking to do one before the end of the year. There for them, and that's all.
So the next set of, I have it in the agenda, we had received the resignation from Alexis. I had assigned her the liaison duties for Climate Smart, the Agricultural Advisory Committee, and ECC. I notified the chairs of those committees to let them know that I would be filling in for now, but I don't have anything to report on those. So, Michael, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. Planning board, so we had a meeting earlier this week. It was very well attended. It went for a while. There weren't a lot of items on the agenda, but there was a lot of public comment, especially focused on some of the feedback that we heard both in our special meeting and at our last workshop meeting. Public. There's certainly some new comments during that session. There was also some of the comments aligned with what we had heard in our meeting as well. They continue to be very busy in terms of the work that they're doing. One request that they had was, could we possibly look at a microphone that would be available for the public, because sometimes it's hard to hear people when they're speaking. So I don't know. I know we had talked about that, but
Just one in the podium, I just need us to get to this, so I can do that once we're done.
Okay.
We'll leave if you want.
yeah, and I think also, I don't know if it. So when projecting the TV, like they want to make sure that they're hearing it as well, not that it's just being broadcast, so. we can
I can,
figure that
yeah, I can
that
figure out
works.
how to do that for them, yeah.
We had talked about the prioritization last meeting, so I know. You sent a note to Dave Church about that, kind of letting him know he could start working on. Some of those, looking at the code for some of those priority items that we had talked about. Zoning Board of Appeals, no updates there. There was no meeting this past month. Ambulance Improvement District, I need to reach out again to the committee. We haven't been able to coordinate time to meet. So I heard back from a few of them, found the time that works for everyone. I also still want to take KFAS up on their offer to meet with the committee. So I'll follow up with them and see if I can find a time now that some other projects are finishing up. And then free exchange recycling. So I had stopped by the exchange at the transfer station. Everything was good there. I know it's operating with a very small group of volunteers, but it's a well-oiled machine at this point. Everyone's organized. They have a good system for denying stuff that shouldn't go in there. And if there is stuff that's not moving, they're either recycling it or it's going into the bin. But I think that's working. And then we've been talking, I know we have the clothing exchange on the agenda later. So we did get the site prep work done today. Thank you to William and Jake for getting it done so quickly. Checked it out, looks great. So we are ready once we get the permits taken care of. So we're just waiting to hear back from the vendor who is currently out on when we can schedule that delivery, and then we'll get the permits in line and make sure we get that, and then also talk to the rec department today, let them know that we'll kind of look at options and then review with them to make sure it aligns with what they need, and hopefully we can get that closed out. And then I'll have a few things on the MOU. I know it's on the agenda, but I think Mary Lou had gotten back to me, and we're probably going to need to at least push that to the next meeting.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
Just because I don't think, unless we can look at it. We probably can't vote if we haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay,
I think it's fine.
great. Thank you. Thanks everyone for all your extra work on those things. So now it's the public comment portion of our meeting. This is the time to address the board. I think everyone here has heard the spiel. But we will not respond to questions during this time period. The town board may decide to answer or respond to anything brought up in public comment during town board member time. Is there anyone here who would like to address the board? Yes.
Barbara Fordell, Accord. I'm going to refer to a couple things. One, I got my own clock to make sure I stay within my 5-minute time. Other than that, very disturbing that last meeting to see the mob mentality, and Mr. Phil Rose be told after 10 minutes that his time was up and he said he didn't care and he proceeded. That I had all I could do to hold my tongue, believe me. So that was very disturbing to me, to see that mob mentality come in and act like that, because I saw it in Reval. And now I'm seeing it on this end of the spectrum. So I'm thinking, where the heck am I living? So anyway, the other issue is that I am referring to a letter that was sent to you from town businesses Arrowwood Farms, Braxton Alexander and Company, Clove Valley Creative Arts Therapy, Flying Goose, Hans Auto Service, Lindsay Arnold Nutshell Realty, New Earth Permaculture LLC, Sacred Traditions, Saunderkill Farm Market, Star of the Meadow Flower Farm, Taft Street Realty Incorporated, and Tributary Farm. And I'm referring to this letter because this letter has no, I got this from the planning board secretary. And it has no signatures. It does not state anybody's name of who wrote it. But I know my neighbor Bob Lessenow was asked to be the one to read it into the record. So that's all I know as far as, who actually wrote it for these businesses, I really don't know. But I'm referring to the fact that the statements that are in here are absolutely false. They refer to a deeply flawed conditional negative deck in which the main mitigation strategy revolved around just lowering under the tower. Deeply flawed, there are, and my husband read them, 338 files online on this project. And there is no proof of any of the allegations in this letter that was addressed. They are talking about, they said that the town of Rochester zoning code required a full economic analysis. And if they took the time to look at those files, that is in there. If they showed that, they said that the major factor, aesthetics is the major factor in one of the, for a positive deck. No, that is a list of many. That is one of them. They went with the, I stayed till 11 o'clock till the end of the meeting to hear the attorney explain why they went with the conditional negative debt. They were able to get 23 conditions to go, be able to address all the problems with this. So I was also disturbed that Julia Walsh stood up and misrepresented the town board position, trying to convince the planning board that you were wanted a positive debt, even though you just sent a cover letter with those comments. So I felt that that was very unethical. They mentioned about how now the businesses and the public can participate. This is going on for 18 months. This has had 9 public hearings. The attorney for the applicant said the most they've ever had is 5. So they're already exceeding. They also said in here that the federal shot clock, they did not believe that that case was applicable, and Steve said that no, it is. They have a shot clock, which means they have to get it done in a timely manner. So as far as I'm concerned, having seen the our planning board in action back years when I was doing the Meadow Lakes thing, and now to see them now, and I want to thank Mr. Coleman as a liaison to actually be present at the meeting. That is very important to me, because you can't sometimes get it from notes and you can't get it. So that was I felt bad for him to sit in the audience and actually have even misrepresented. So like I said, I just very disturbed that anybody in these businesses, if they knew what they were really signing, I wonder if they would really sign, so I'm going to put it in another letter from Steve, which I think he's the better writer. And he handed me this soon as I went out the door and said, here, you want to read something, read this. So this is a group that has been putting pressure on the town of Rochester Town Board and Planning Board to turn down the proposed Verizon cell tower on Granite Road. The group has uniformly misrepresented the facts of the review and have leveled unsubstantiated charges of malfeasance on the part of the town's planning board. The group has become typical NIMBY protesters, abused both town comprehensive plan and the zoning code language in an attempt to bend public opinion to their viewpoint. Fortunately for the group's integrity, below is the town of Rochester's planning board site link with 338 files covering the review, as well as many letters from misinformed people that wrote against the approval of the Verizon cell tower. The town of Rochester planning board bent over backwards to assure every procedural requirement was duly given the hard look as required by the law. The anti-tower folk have admitted to bully both the town board and the planning board into turning down the tower, when the fact is that should the planning board turn it down, Verizon would sue and the town of Rochester would lose. Health issues have been proven to be non-existent as determined by the federal government, and the 1996 FCC Telecommunications Act prohibits local review boards from even considering health, let alone denying tower applications on the basis of health. And I also want to just add in here, when I asked my husband, what's the science when you take a cell phone and you put that next to your head? You are amplifying the signal when you put that to your head. The claim by the anti-tower group that the planning board didn't do what is required by SEQR, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and the Town of Rochester zoning code is demonstrably false, to which a reading of the 338 files will attest to. Verizon hired extremely competent professionals to study the question, and they found the lost property value charged to be without letter propagated by the group and signed off on by various businesses in town. Was based upon the planning board's main mitigation strategy revolves around lowering the height of the proposed cell tower from 145 to 125. The reason that the main focus is because of essentially the only aspect, which is the aesthetics, concerning the SEQR review that could be called an impact, which required mitigation, on which the CND delivered. The opposition was more a mob of people unwilling to accept the reality of a cell tower siting. They don't want it, so they spent months throwing shit against the wall to see if anything would stick. It didn't. The planning board will no doubt approve the application for the cell tower as the applicant fulfilled all that was required and more, seeing as the public hearing was held in session in 9 times. That was from my husband. I can give you a copy of that. So as far as I'm concerned, every single one of these businesses should be sending, once they research those 338 files, should be sending an apology to every single one of those planning board members for accusing them for not doing their job. Because those people were there till 11 o'clock. They work hard. And you know what? Steve used to get paid $25 a meeting. So I don't know what they get now, but they don't get much. So to accuse them of not doing their job, to me, is just like, I'm not letting that go down. I'm just not letting that go down. Sorry.
Would anyone else like to address the board?
Just so that I'm not, Bill Kimmel from the Daily Freeman. Just so that I'm not intrusive when you get to the point where you're making the motion to go into executive session. I would like to know the name, the specific litigation, but also the appointment, the name of the position. Here it says particular persons, which you do not have to discuss, but the appointment, the position would be appropriate, particularly since there's now an apparent vacancy of a town board member, which would be, according to the opinions from the Committee on Local Government, not appropriate for executive session, which you probably already know, because you have this together.
Would anyone else like to address the board? Okay, so I'll close the town board, or I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. It's now town board member time. Do any of my board members have anything you'd like to share or respond to?
I do, but I can let you go first to answer. Executive session questions.
Well, I'll just make the motion.
Okay,
Yeah,
they'll
I
do
was
the
gonna
motion.
put that in the motion, so.
Okay, so only response I wanted to have, I was gonna bring this up later during other discussions. But since we had a comment about the planning board meeting the other night, while on vacation, I watched as long as I could before I had to leave for dinner. Of that meeting, I got in about 2.5 hours of it, almost 3, and I watched a good amount of it, and I appreciate the public defending our boards and committees and our volunteers who sit in these seats, and thank you for that, Barbara. And being accused of not doing their jobs. I think that if you show up at your meetings or here in the seat, you make sure you're engaging and you do your homework and things that you are doing your job and what we appointed you for. But there was one thing said that I don't personally agree with, and that that it was said tonight, and it was said in the last meeting that, and it was said in the planning board meeting, by our attorney, and where it was alluded to, that Verizon's just gonna sue us if we don't approve it. And I don't think that that holistically and in general should be the way that our planning board or any board and commission operates, that we approve things based off of the risk of being sued. Because with, I think it was 178 public comments when I read through them all on an airplane on my way to Florida, last week, that if there's over 150 comments from the public, that none of them are in favor of a project that's before the planning board, we're at risk of getting 178 Article 78s against the town and then paying all of those legal fees and lawyers. So I think that in general, that narrative is really not the one we should have, or the, you know, the precedent to set, that we approve things at the risk of being sued by applicants, because that just to me doesn't seem holistic. And the other thing I want to say publicly is that when the planning board was talking about the economic study and not having proper, or not knowing what to do because of the home sales, and there wasn't any areas like that, I was literally sitting there watching it, tell my cell phone, like screaming at it, being like, because it's all rentals in that area or camps, they need to do a rental impact study on that road, if that's what they're trying to gain, is the actual impact of that neighborhood. The majority are rentals. And my biggest, I just want to say, since I wasn't at the meeting, my biggest issue is the planning board approving any, like in general, any board approving something that doesn't, that's at risk of losing its water and septic systems on that parcel for the existing buildings, and having no infrastructure then for the entire parcel at the same time of being approved for a brand new structure. That's not, you know, ideal for me, and I don't know what we could possibly do to put it in the code for something like that, that like pre-existing buildings have to be up to code on a parcel or something like that before any new buildings can be created. Like, I think we need some verbiage in our code to be able to make sure that that happens, because the fact that it can happen right now is kind of crazy to me. And that's all. Do you have anything? Okay.
No, well, sure.
You like to talk. Come on, Michael, we have
I'll echo Barbara's comments that the planning board does a tremendous amount of work. They're all very dedicated. They're all looking at these documents and spending a lot of time on that, on all of these projects, and they deserve our gratitude. And so I just want to express that again. I do think, to your point, Charlotte, there is a lot of interesting discussion about some of those topics in the course of the meeting, and what happens when you open up a site plan review for special use permits, and if you have things that, you know, where the code may have changed in the meantime. And so I do encourage people to kind of watch that discussion. There's also some discussions around the difference between what the criteria for an application is, as opposed to the requirements for evaluating an application. And I just find those things interesting, because I think, and we made this point, and I also agree that this board has been very explicit that we do not want to weigh in on the validity of this project or evaluate this project, that is within the purview of the planning board and not something that we want to wade into. But where we do have influence is in future changes to the zoning code. And so that, you know, when I hear these comments, when I look into these issues, when any of us have conversations with Mary Lou, it's to that end, to understand where the gaps in the code are, where things could be buttoned up, where things could be changed for future projects. But I do think, and with respect to, you know, concerns about litigation, as Mary Lou is fond of telling us, you know, courts are open, I think she says 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't know if it's actually true, but
8 hours back.
anyone can
But
sue.
there's online filing, it is.
Right. And I don't see that motivating the decisions. I think what is motivating the decision is something Supervisor Allen made the point of saying, is they take an oath to uphold the laws of the state of New York, as we all do. And so they are following the code, and that is their responsibility, not to tweak the code as they see fit, but to interpret the code as it has been written. So, and that's what I see in a lot of these discussions, and I just want to make sure, I think that's the driving factor, not, any concerns about who might or might not sue, so. And
Yeah,
not
I just
that
meant
you were
I
saying
just
that.
meant that narrative because it's come up a lot
Yeah.
throughout this process from comments, and like I even heard it at the planning board meeting also, even from like members, so I was like, I don't love this narrative.
Yeah,
That
no, I agree.
why we should be, sympathetic or trying to process an application through or whatnot, so.
Right.
In general, I don't think our board is doing that, I just don't think in general that should be the narrative out there from any side.
Agreed.
Mr. Kimball, I will put all that in my motion when we go into executive session, just so you know, but we have a couple minutes. I was hoping we could do a few of our resolutions. And then right at 7:30, we'll go into executive session. So did the board get the edits that I had to the May 28th, 2026 workshop meeting, or do you want to table those until the next?
I read,
Okay,
I got them before.
I'm fine with it.
okay, so I'll make a motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board accepts the minutes of the May 14th, 2026 business meeting, the June 3rd, 2026 special meeting, and the May 28th, 2026 workshop meeting as prepared and presented by the town clerk.
Second.
Thank you, Kate, Kate did those minutes very quickly so that we could submit the record to the planning board. And I just want to thank you so much for prioritizing that over your very long list of other things. So thank
I also second
you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Do you have those numbers?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'll make a motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board accepts the following donations in the following amounts with gratitude. $63 from St. Paul's Textile.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Next up, acceptance of abstract 6A 2026. Thank you to Charlotte and Michael for auditing those bills today. I'll make the motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board accepts the 6A 2026 abstract and approves the payments in the following amounts. General Fund, $51,650.03. Highway Fund, $51,759.29. Nothing for Ambulance Fund, nothing in Capital Fund. Street Lighting Fund was $526.59. And in escrow, there were $4,657.50 of expenditures.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries. So I did want to review the appointments with the board in executive session, just, so we'll skip that. And move on to E, appropriations for a part-time clerk position. I'll make the motion that the town board establishes the position of part-time clerk. This is the second of those that we have, a non-competitive civil service title at a rate of $25 per hour, consistent with the adopted wage scale. The position is limited to a maximum of 20 hours per week and will begin June 26, 2026, and is assigned to the Code Enforcement Office / Building Department.
Second.
Any discussion?
And so this clerk, it would be technically under the town clerks?
No.
No, right, it's, okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought, that it gets broken out.
Yeah.
Because they're there, okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to confirm that, nope,
Yeah.
I'm good then.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. So that was an aye.
Yes,
Okay. So.
sorry, I thought I read a typo while I was saying aye.
So we're gonna skip the appointment of the part-time clerk. So
Skipping that.
are we tabling the MOU until the next meeting?
Can we just put it in discussion? Just
Sure.
respond. There's a few tweets.
And then for the code enforcement software, do you guys want to talk about that before we vote to adopt?
Yeah, I also
Okay.
just
All right,
get a
so
little.
we're about to go into executive session and then we'll come out and discuss the code enforcement software. And then, we have another public comment and then we'll move on to the actual discussion items. So I'll make a motion that the Town of Rochester Town Board enters into executive session for the purposes of matters pertaining to the litigation of the town versus Richard S. Miller and matters involving the appointment of the summer recreation aid positions and the appointment of a part-time clerk position.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. So, can you mute that? You, oh, good, she's done. I'd like to make a motion that the town board exits executive session at 8:30 P.M.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries.
So we're gonna pick back up with our resolutions. So I would like, I'm at resolution D, which we skipped. So that's the appointment of summer recreation aides. I'd like to make a motion, I'd like to make the motion as presented on the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I just could not find my agenda.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. So for F, we need a little bit more time to, review, to check references, so the board is going to schedule a special meeting. So do you have the calendar, what am I saying?
Yep, Monday the 15th.
So
Oh, we know.
there is a meeting at the community center on the 15th.
I think the 15th, the 17th are both next week.
So could you guys do Tuesday?
Next Tuesday,
Hmm.
what time?
I mean, we can do it at some, you guys can do any time, we can
We're
do
just
it,
doing the chairs that day, so I just don't.
Oh.
I'm gonna be done.
that's that Tuesday.
Oh, wait, actually, wait, why don't we do a special meeting at 9 and you guys can meet us here to load the chairs?
9 AM.
Yeah, do you wanna do it that way? And then I'll be here anyway to get the chairs.
I can do that.
You know what I mean? If you
Will
guys
we
can
be ready
fine, you
to
guys
select,
can
do the code enforcement software?
I think so.
Okay.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna do the meeting here at 9 AM on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, yeah.
When do they have an exercise
Yeah.
class?
10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like,
No, 10 or 11, it only starts dance with 11.
I can't remember. I know
I'll
some
look
places
on the
try
website.
to-
Tuesday, exercise class at 8.
Oh.
Well, it's booked at 8, I don't know if it's on stuff.
I think she books it, but I don't think it's at 8.
It's booked from 8 as well.
Well, on the 15th, there's a meeting that starts at 6. If you guys wanna
And
do it
there's no
before,
after-school
I can
program
cover it
anymore.
we could do it before that.
Meeting starts at 6:30, it looks like,
Okay, we could do it before that, we could do 5.
on Monday.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I mean, I'd have a person in tow.
Ooh. Is that
Town
okay?
board play date.
Yeah.
Special meeting.
So
It's short.
With our junior members.
I'll make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board schedules a special meeting for Monday, June 15th at 5 PM at the Harold Lipton Community Center and requests town clerk post notice.
Can you
Second.
put it on the calendar?
Do you want me to do that? I was gonna say, I don't wanna
Yeah, I don't want to both do.
play with one another.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay.
Take the chairs then.
Okay, great, yes.
Yeah, then I can take the chairs, so I don't interrupt.
All right, so now we are going to, we have the second public comment portion of the meeting. Was there anything you wanted to address?
I'm good.
Okay, great. So we'll move on to discussion items. Councilman Coleman, the 2 resolutions that we tabled, one is the approval of the MOU. The second is the code enforcement building department software. You wanted to discuss both of those things.
Yes. Second.
And then,
Kate, do you wanna be on that meeting?
On Monday?
Yeah.
I'll be at the county probably by then. Oh, wait, Monday, 9 o'clock, you have training.
No.
we're doing Monday at
5.
5.
Oh. Yeah.
But I can also,
Move back.
I can also take minutes.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I can't. My daughter has commitment for college.
Okay.
I can take them.
Okay.
I think I do have some.
Yeah, which do we wanna talk about first?
MOU. Or do you want us to review this document and?
I didn't talk about it.
Let
Yeah.
me just talk through it and then
Okay.
I can send it out to everyone.
Uh-huh.
Mary Lou looked at it and was fine with changes. Just pull up the version.
So just to be clear, this is only about the shed.
Well. So I got, Kate sent me the agreement for the use of the space. And there is some overlap, so I may go back through and reference the shed agreement as an addendum throughout, and then just remove the duplicative language about like the space and everything. Because when you look at the contract for using the space, it talks about leaving it in clean condition, only going, so it's stuff that's
So
duplicated.
what
in
we
the MOU.
decided our last meeting is anything related to that, we were just gonna handle in the agreement.
Right.
For using the space.
That's what I'm saying,
And anything that's just dealing with the shed
correct,
is just gonna be in this MOU.
right?
Mhm. Okay.
So when I made the last edits that I sent to Mary Lou, I didn't have the contract yet, the agreement, so I just have to go through and just pull out the duplicative
Oh, you
stuff.
did have it sparse, the two separate.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I see.
And she was fine with that. The things that. So I did get some feedback from. The group. And. Just pull up the version and make sure I don't miss anything. So some stuff, so there was a name change both for the group and for the individual. There was a request to add a second person who's involved with the organization, so added those people. One of the things that we had talked about that I wanted to make sure everyone was okay with was we had talked about the shed being donated to the town. What I wanted to include in there was for the initial period, which is a 3-year period. The shed is not going to transfer, so they can have it here, they can make use of it. However, if they decide that they want to go to a different location or they want to, do something else, they can coordinate with the town, and as long as they cover the cost of expenses, they can remove the shed and put it to another location. So if they decide they want to move it to another place, within that three-year period, they can coordinate with us, remove the shed at their own expense. And then that would terminate the agreement if they don't want to use the community center anymore. So I wanted to make sure that was okay. So that'll be in the version that I send around to people.
The point, the issue being that if for some reason they aren't holding this event here, we don't want to be tied to them using the shed here.
Right.
Yes, but if they're donating it to the town, then. Own it.
I'm saying the donation would happen after the initial 3-year period.
Oh, I got you. Okay, sorry. I thought you were saying that was a stipulation of the donation. I was like.
I just wanted to be, to be a gesture, like, the concern is
No, I just,
they
yeah, I didn't want.
want to know that there's a home here, and I think we all agree that it's a successful program. But we obviously can't make commitments, like they're not renting the space on a permanent basis. It's not like.
There's not a lease.
Yeah, there's not a lease, so I think that's a way of saying, look, we're committed, we're not gonna just turn around a month from now and be like, thanks for the shed, you guys gotta leave. So I think that's a reasonable accommodation to make in that case. And then I'm gonna add the reference to the community center agreement. I already sent that to them, they said everything and that looks fine, how they sign that. Key policy, I have to look, because I think the agreement has a key policy in it, but I just want to say that copies of any keys for locks placed in the shed will be provided to the supervisor. And then within 24 hours of any locks being installed, and that the town reserves the right to remove any locks if necessary to enter the shed. And one thing in the termination for cause, it just said the town may terminate this agreement. I just changed that to the town board may by resolution terminate this agreement, so that it's, there's not concerns that a single person would make a change, like the board will actually evaluate it. And then they also requested that there be some kind of cure period if there's an alleged violation. So I added that we would allow 15 days to cure before termination, except in the case of emergencies involving safety. So, and I think those are the major changes that I added, so I can send it around, but.
So,
Well, I think the um. The bullets we have are violation of agreement terms, unsafe conditions, failure to maintain insurance, or misuse of the property. So I think
This
all
is
this,
for the shed.
yeah. Well. With what I said before, which I have to go through and make sure there's not duplication in terms of the actual agreement, but yes. Violation of this agreement terms, unsafe conditions in the shed. Failure to maintain insurance, which I don't know if the agreement has an insurance requirement in it. I don't think it does.
We had put it in ours.
Yeah.
So you'll circulate this,
Yeah.
because I'm having a hard time.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes.
I didn't get to read through all.
Yeah, and so this would be a clean version with red lines of the changes I just talked about. Like it's going in. Okay, it's the version we already had discussed. Anything new will be redlined.
Okay. Great.
And did they respond at all about? Or did Mary Lou have comments about it needing to be an LLC or an Inc. or an incorporated nonprofit, anything like that? Like if we can make an MOU with an individual?
She said this was fine the way she structured it, so she did change the way the language was written to allow for that, so we don't need to.
Gotcha, okay, so she made it so it's an MOU with an individual, not the verbiage that we
Yeah.
typically use with the like organization. Okay, well,
Exactly.
Because we're not that, because we are just doing it over the shed, which is being donated by an
Mhm.
individual. We are not tying that to the use of the space. The use of the space is gonna be just the terms of the agreement. Cool, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just wanted to make sure insurance wise we are covered,
Yeah.
that it was allowable.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Good, okay, so code enforcement software, I got the code enforcement office sent a correspondence. Letting me know what their top pick was, but I think. Michael, you still had some questions. And I just wanted to see do we think that we are in a position to make a decision, or do we think that it's possible that we'd want to re-release the RFP?
I think we're in a position where we're ready to make a decision. I think the board still had a question about, be careful about these investments in software that we want to make. It does seem to me like this would be like a multiplier in terms of reducing the amount of manual
Yes.
things that they need to do.
Right.
I think the software that they're interested in actually has like a forward-facing component. And I spoke to a nearby township that uses it, and they said they've noticed like a reduction in the amount of calls and like office visits to do things because a lot of people are going online and
Right.
asking questions there, and that's helping. So it seems to me that the things that I'm most concerned about when looking at software, especially if it talks about AI, and especially if it talks about, especially with smaller companies and newer software products, is does it actually do everything that they show in the demo? And so I was asking, I saw the demo for all the products. I think the one that they're interested in looks really good. And a lot of the questions I had for the references they provided was, are these things working for you? Is it working as expected? Is it helping you reduce the amount of work? And the other good thing was the office of the group that's using it is similar in size to our office. And so they've definitely noticed it. So I think if the board wants to move forward with trying to address some of the challenges that office is facing right now in terms of the inundation of materials, then we're ready to make the decision. And I think their choice seems like a good one.
So you don't want to wait to make the decision?
I think we should talk about it, but I'm comfortable. If we want to wait until next week, we can do that, because I have a call into one other person, one other reference that I want to just talk to. but I think it's fine. I think we should wait till Monday.
Oh, yeah, can we wait until our special, can we add that to
Yeah.
the agenda for a special meeting?
Yes, that's
Cause
what
I was gonna say, I just
I got
follow up with our
conflicting
IT person. Like our
Yeah, we
IT
can
consultants to see if
We
they
can
have,
send them the name. Okay.
if they have any reviews or like,
Okay.
that they know that one program works better than the other with Microsoft, like,
Okay,
in their experience, so they, since they work with so many
all right.
townships.
I will send the names to them.
Okay,
I
cool.
won't. Okay.
I think the one thing we should make sure, so the one point that this other town made was they had been using a previous software, so they had a lot of stuff that was already in the system that was
Right,
then
and we don't.
imported, and we don't. So I think two things I would recommend if we want to move forward. One was we should just make sure they have a good understanding of what that migration looks like and how they're going to get information in and that they're prepared, because there's going to be a lot of
The company.
both the company and our office, because they're probably going to have to do a lot of work
Yeah, no,
getting stuff in there.
that was the main part of the department demos that I was a part of.
Yeah.
Was that discussion.
And then the other thing is, I know they're. I think they were proposing like a 3-year deal. And I think we should consider whether or not we want to commit to 3 years or, trial it for 1 year, like basically do it for 1 year and then assuming everything works well, we can commit to something longer.
That seems like a lot to try to figure out when we only have 2 business days.
I think it's just a question of would they entertain doing an agreement for a year as opposed to 3.
Will just be if they have a buyout or a cancellation.
Well, basically, they
Some companies will have to go, like, 1 year after, like, they'll give you a off-ramp option after 1 year or something.
right, and they may do that anyway. I think they were basically saying if you can lock in the price for 3 years if you commit to 3 years, or you may have like a 5% escalation or whatever. So I think that's something we should talk about. I'd hate to commit to 3 years and then turns out it doesn't work for their needs, but.
I mean, we already did that. So,
Something was.
because we did Unicolab and we've been paying for it and it hasn't been used at all.
Beautiful.
Yeah, for the building department, don't you remember doing that?
My whole reason for wanting to make sure these ones might work with me.
But. So.
Yeah, let's do it on Monday.
What was oh yeah, this is a 2-month process to onboard to any of the programs.
Mhm.
So for me, it's like, I would feel like abandoning something after a year we're gonna have to.
Yeah, that'd be like we did, that's like what we got put into with the records management scanning thing, like. We did all of this work for it to just not get kept up with, or to switch to a different system, or to have the equipment not work, or blah, 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 so I also agree with that. Weighing our options there, but
Yeah.
also paying attention to what our cancellation or,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I think we
Yeah.
preserve the option.
okay,
yeah.
so. The remaining discussion items, I wanted to share, I was hoping our emergency management coordinator was gonna be here tonight, but I'll give him a call.
What? I asked for a minute to go brief recess to just go check out my baby.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Brief recess.
Yeah.
Or you could just build something for us. We'll have it in 3 years.
All right.
I don't know.
Need any water? You need a water refill?
Me? Sure. All right. So it's thunderstorm alerts. And then the rain.
Still tomorrow, we're supposed to be getting really bad.
Every day they say it, then they don't have it.
We do need some rain.
I know,
It's looking so pretty and green now, it's starting to get brown and crunchy.
the little plants time. I was messing around by. Part of my garden that I haven't done much in, and there's like a little boxwood there, and I was like knocking something off it. All of a sudden I hear like this like angry buzzing, and I'm like, what is that? Swarm of like, I didn't know what they were, like comes up. I scream and go running. But they like didn't attack me. I was standing there for a while. Like, oh, maybe they're bees or whatever. But it was like a wasp nest.
I would say it was a lot.
Yeah. I don't know how I didn't get stung.
Yeah, you lucked out.
Yeah, and I'm allergic.
Are you? Oh, that's not good.
I was like, what's that weird buzzing sound? And I couldn't even see it. It's like a tiny little nest, like,
Do you have to have an EpiPen?
should.
My brother's allergic, but it seems like the only time that it really affects them is anything from like the chest up.
Well, I got stung by a bee on my foot yesterday and I had like a. Foot.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was like hobbling around.
Yeah.
Well, I have one here. I do. It's probably
Yeah.
expired by like 6 years.
I'm glad you.
Still clear. I think I can use it.
My brother did get stung in the toe once and his big toe was about that.
Yeah, I get really bad with flies still. But it's different things. I'm more allergic to some than others. Expired in 2025. That's still good.
Yeah, they're not
What year is
far
it?
off. 6.
I had like a.
Not even a year.
But yeah, when I got stung last night, I was like, I was sitting there, I forgot I got stung. And then I like stood up to go walk, get like water or something, and it's wrong with my foot.
Okay, so emergency preparedness, I just wanted to get some input. This has been. There's two things, I don't wanna rehash the entire training, but, the main point of like, the thing that takes the most time in planning is the community building aspect of disaster preparedness, because it's everything from knowing and having a plan for vulnerable populations to knowing exactly what the emergency response protocol is and having that communicated clearly and consistently. So there was the things that I put in on the like, what's our near-term action plan? Number one is to schedule a community meeting. With the purpose of having like a discussion about forming like a coalition. Or like an action team, so it would be like a community meeting where we would invite fire district, EMS, food pantry, we would invite the Red Cross said that they could attend these types of things.
I'm gonna say no.
To the Red Cross.
Yes, I was on the Ulster County Food Security Action Network for 3 years, and we wrote the food portion of the county's emergency preparedness plan, which was after at multiple date points, the Red Cross was supposed to be here if there was a pandemic, and they never came
Oh, they
here
never.
to this township.
Well, they were part,
Or the
they were-
Rockout district, so.
they were part of.
Yes,
the-
so I would just advise maybe a different keep our options open is all I'm saying, we can still invite
So-
them, but they just, I know that from seeing the county's plan, what was supposed to happen and what actually happened, they didn't even contact us, so. Which I understand on scale of unpredictable size.
Yeah,
So,
so I guess for that, I wanted to see, I like the idea of thinking of having a coalition for this. Wanted to get the board's input, and then perhaps at our next meeting, we could schedule that and have a list of who we want to invite. It would be open to the public, but I think inviting the agencies.
Yeah. I think that's a good time for it too, because, do you remember when, Commissioner Dunning came in and he really would like to sit down and put like an action plan together? And I know at one time Charlotte was talking about somebody shadowing Jerry also,
Yes,
so I think
yeah.
that's like an appropriate time.
Yes.
To do that, while the energy's there.
Yeah,
Well, apparently we're having like tornadoes every year too.
Right.
then the other big thing is, this is about the three main actions that I think take a little bit of time, but they're all about creating a bigger network. So one, because we're going into the heat season, having an emergency shelter group, because right now it's just me.
Yeah.
And I think we just need, we need a group of people who aren't staff members necessarily, but we can have our own communications, and that way, when we're opening the emergency shelter, there's more people to staff it. Cause it's always last
Yeah.
minute.
yeah, I think that that's a great, like, having like a roll call to be able to call out to be like if people
Yeah.
have keys that can just be like, yeah, I'm available, I can get there on blackout or whatever.
And
the
then
situation is.
that includes things like the supply kit for the shelter, so I think we should have when we are open for a cooling center, what do we make sure is in our kit when we're open for a warming shelter? And then the bigger thing is when we are a shelter. Cause there's different types of shelters. But having a kit together that's sort of like the grab bag kit, but it's more about a stay here kit. And then the other sort of group I was thinking of is Rosendale has been doing this. We've been talking about this as a board. We've been talking about this at supervisor association meetings, but transforming our elder care program into a vulnerable population group, that is the whole task, is networking and community building and making sure that we have a plan for all of it, but specifically was thinking about this in terms of disasters, but it could be anything from, that to getting rights to the library. I mean, that group could do a lot more than just this, but it made me think okay, we really have to do this and we need to do it sooner rather than later. So those were the three things I would like to prioritize. There were some other things that I think I just wanted to share. The text system, we need the text alert system for emergencies. The one really wonderful little note was when we're doing, because I do all of the notifications on Facebook and on our website, and in these weather events especially, things change. And so I really liked this idea, but to date and timestamp and number every single message so that it's clear that something came before it and this is a new one, rather than, because sometimes the way social media works or even your email, you'll pay attention to one thing but not, or you'll be fed the old thing, but not the new
Yes.
thing, so I thought, I just want to share that. And then there's apparently some funding opportunities, and there's a few that I was gonna mention with the upcoming grant opportunities that could also help fund some of this work. So, any thoughts about that? This is just kind of what, Michael, you were there, so I don't know if you disagree with him. I know you'll tell me.
No, I think they're all great ideas. I thought it was a useful session. I think the biggest thing is involving the community.
Yes,
It's one of the things that struck me was, you want to think about your at-risk populations, whether that's associated with income, age,
language,
medical issues.
Yeah.
And we as a town don't necessarily have a good understanding
Right.
of that, but the people that do is the community. Like, people know their neighbors, they know, oh, so-and-so lives over there, they don't have access to an air conditioner, or they don't, necessarily have enough food in their house to get past a couple days, so building that out is.
Right.
Like, we need people to help with that.
yeah, like good neighbors take care of neighbors. I think the other thing that kind of I opened, like, that the at-risk or vulnerable population can be different depending on what the disaster is. So also kind of identifying that with the top disasters, you would know, like in a flood, people who are going to get cut off, like they are an at-risk population that might not otherwise be an at-risk population and are different. So that is also like part of it, but
Yeah, it's true. We have multiple like hamlets or neighborhoods that do get waterlogged.
Yeah.
If we get more than X and that number of inches per hour of rain, like when I lived on Stony Hill, I got trapped because I lived right in the middle and I
Yeah.
couldn't get out anyway during like one of like the hurricane pushing storms that came up the East Coast, but yeah, I think it's super important. I think that making sure, like, obviously, we don't want any of these things to happen here, but I think that making sure that there is a plan and there is at least some type of guide, even if it's not a step-by-step like playbook on what to do in every single response of like, these are where our stations will be for each area, like of an emergency, if we need to have a shelter station, blah, blah, blah. I think that that's really important for us to have. And yeah, I'm happy to help and be on any committee, just since I've already written a chapter of emergency
Mhm.
planning before. That was like a county level, like very long, it was like 30 pages, the food chapter, so like. I have somewhat, it was a few years ago, but like I have some experience in it, so. And we did do another, like, our recommendations that, and they didn't change any of our recommendations that they put in from the Action Network, because like we literally, they were extensive, like we put what to do if it was. Medical related illness and like how many other, like we added a whole, like I think like chart, it was a chart that was like 1 or 2 pages of like resources for other things to be able to refer out from your organization if you were a food organization, feeding organization, so. There's a couple different things from that I think that would really help with this, and I've also just from my work in the
Yeah.
nonprofit sector,
Yeah.
I know a lot of nonprofit leadership in this area that even if they don't have offices here, they still do a lot of work here or have caseworkers managing a lot of our residents in different areas, so I think that, yeah, those are the people outside of neighbor to neighbor, like you put it, Michael, like the people who actually are, boots on the ground working with individuals
Yeah.
that are in these underserved or in these vulnerable populations, like they know it, like when you were naming different things, I was just like, oh yeah, I was like, well, I know at least 5 people who are deaf in town that only use sign language to speak, and I know where 3 of them live, but I don't know where the other 2 live, for if there was something that they wouldn't have gotten alerted for. Or multiple things like that, people who are in wheelchairs, people who are amputees, anyone, people who are on oxygen and ventilators, if there's a huge electric outage. Like if we had a list of those individuals, so we can go and have someone go
Right.
out to check if they need a generator, like. There's ways to solve that,
right.
like I know 5 guys that would give their generator, their gas powered generator to an old lady on oxygen instead of using it at their house for a
Right.
huge emergency, so like. I think that that's great, I think trying to get like a rural connection of. Emergency and also like volunteers to help in that.
Right.
I think is great, like having people who can come and. You know, are willing to come meet you out if there's a tree down across. Your driveway and you can't get out, you know what I mean, like.
Yep.
Something we can work out with that.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I think that this community meeting, I kind of want it to be a town board meeting because. I think both of you, Charlotte and you, Michael, would be like, it would be. I would want you both there, you know what I mean? So I think we're gonna. You know, I thought of both of you with all of this.
Yeah, I love those trainings. Cause I'm that person that likes to be prepared for anything, but expect the best, be prepared type of thing,
Yeah.
so I. Like the grab bags, I wanted to do that for a while, or like I kind of did a similar thing for our elder care day event that we did 2 years ago, I did like a little. Like resource bag and then like goodies of things for them, so. I love all of that, and I can help with, I'm very good at bulk sourcing.
Mhm.
So from my work at the food pantry, so like to get inventory and procurement for all of that stuff, I'm happy to assist with too.
Okay. Great, so it sounds like I'll put some of this on the agenda for our workshop meeting. So that we can I agree with you, Kate, about, you know, this idea keeps coming up and I think capitalizing on it and the very good relationship that we have with our emergency responders in town, I think we wanna make sure that we are as gelled as possible. And there is a very direct connection because the town supervisor, for example, issues the emergency declaration, which triggers a lot of things. And so it's not the town, there's a lot that the town isn't doing, but there's also a lot that the town is doing. So quickly, because I would love to adjourn at a reasonable hour for the first time in a couple months. Upcoming grant opportunities, there's the consolidated funding application is open and there are
Yes.
some opportunities available that dovetail with our priorities. So Charlotte, I wanted to talk to you. And then there are some that we are made available to us if we have achieved bronze status by the time we submit our application, which we probably will. So I wanted to start planning on that. And
You mean state pro housing, bronze, right?
no,
County,
I'm talking about climate smart.
climate smart, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then, so,
There's a CFA right now for housing also.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I thought
Okay.
you were talking housing and
so you and I
So
should
cool, so yeah,
talk
we
about,
can set up a time that I can come in, cause. I've started my new job now that I've graduated college and I have a much more flexible, stress-free schedule and workload, so
great.
I'm happy to come in.
So there's a number, I feel like if we can get. I think we should really try to get something together by the deadline and it feels far away, but it's really not.
Yeah,
It's the end of July.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what I thought. I
It's
was like,
really
kinda
not,
marked on my brain
and
calendar.
we really have to, I think the
Mhm.
board, we really have to be unified in that.
Yeah.
Traffic study
Yeah.
follow-up, I'm gonna table that because that's really Councilman Wynn's
Oh, yes, yeah.
project and we had it on our last agenda. So the one big thing I wanted to bring up for the board, and then we have some other matters, is our health insurance plan is projected to go up 16%. This is an expense that is not tenable for our staff or the town, honestly. So I started working on what are our options. And I wanted to share two things. One, at the department meeting that we had this week, we talked about what I'm gonna do is kind of more department meetings where I'm gonna sit down with smaller groups of staff and go through the options that we have through our insurance broker and kind of see if any of this is feasible for staff, because if we're gonna switch plans, There are a couple options that would not be a big increase and wouldn't change too much. But the structure of them is a little different, and I don't want that to negatively impact anyone that's relying on something that they wouldn't. Like one is we don't have a copay plan, so like one is a copay plan where the copays kick in after you've met the deductible, which the town pays the deductible. And so it's like $30 to go to the doctor, which is reasonable, but there are other parts of that. So anyway,
We sign them in December though, right? It's like, but well, for budget season, we.
no, we
so
have
which
to
one
sign it
is-
at the end
sorry,
of September.
Okay, I couldn't remember what our calendar year was. Okay, so we
This-
do have like the summer to
This,
kind of.
yeah,
gather
but I
some of the
don't, yeah,
employees.
for me, it's like not that much time, so I
Yes,
wanna
yeah.
get, cause this stuff can take a lot of time. So we're also going to be approaching, so the county just switched to Marshall and Sterling. As their broker, so the towns are going to
I was
approach
just
the
gonna tell you that.
county about going in as a group. We have no idea if this is gonna pan out, but we're gonna talk about it next week. And, so I know,
should ask the school district to join.
oh yeah, we could also,
So schools can all join you from the county also, and that's what they cited as their reason for the giant budget hike at Rondout this year and cutting 28 positions.
right, so like,
So,
yeah, I think if that's a
Yeah, purchase power.
possibility and it does lead to reductions, I think we should be open to that, but it also might not be something that pans out this year. I don't know. So I just wanted you guys to be aware. I'm gonna do a lot of the prep work and I'm gonna investigate as wide a range of options as I can, get real input from our staff, and then I'll be bringing stuff continually to the board. Because I don't wanna make a decision that we don't have our staff included in.
oh, correct, yeah, I agree completely.
So then under other matters, Charlotte, you had an idea about the voicemail bridge blocking it off?
Yes, does our highway department, do we not have any temporary construction work fences?
I
In like
think
our
they put them up.
inventory?
I think that's what
That's what they
just
already
put
like
up,
the
yeah.
like the metal ones, or are we talking like the plastic?
I have to go back and
Cause
look at
I'm
the
talking
email.
like the metal ones that you'll see outside of like a demolition site.
It
Yeah,
was chain
That's what I
link.
mean, yeah, like a chain link.
Yeah,
fence,
they
and
put up a
lived it
chain
on
link.
the actual bridge though.
Yeah. That's what the DOT told us to do. I haven't gone and looked at it, but there was an email that said that got done.
Yeah,
Do we have any liability around that?
it's
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we have been notified in writing by the DOT.
Right, but is there a way
Yeah,
we can
those.
mitigate that by following certain guidelines the DOT has? Like if we put up a chain link, does that mitigate some of our liability?
Yeah,
So,
you know,
I mean,
I'm
we
gonna
can't
drive
unless we're
by
gonna
it
physically
tomorrow.
stop people from crossing it. Like any kind of sign or something. Like
Well-
DOT have policies that like.
Not the
protect us.
DOT, it's us. It
Right,
would be
but-
our insurance policy.
Oh, you mean, do they have a policy for like
our
site
bridge.
safety?
Just
For
if-
like containing a site.
It would be
safety
our
or-
general liability insurance.
yeah,
Right,
well,
but
we
what I'm
have-
saying is if we follow like all of their guidelines.
I
is
can
it-
ask our insurance broker,
protect
but it doesn't matter. Either way, we should follow all of their guidelines.
Yeah,
regardless.
that's
I
how
don't know if it's
just like
gonna,
more.
I mean, we're responsible if a speed limit sign isn't pounded in all the way. So like I have a feeling I know how it would go. But that's why we have to take every measure we can to keep people away from
Yeah.
destruction. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna take a drive by
Are
tomorrow.
you thinking more of like wanting to know the protocol for, sort of like liability, make sure that if we're current, that we're not negligent, that.
Yeah,
what
right.
where you're
The-
going.
Yeah.
I was thinking other end, like, what's the guide and have we followed it?
Right.
Cause if not,
I
is there
think that's-
something that like based off of the,
We got
Or
the
flag.
DOT's put in writing what the town needed
Oh,
to
okay.
do.
And we've
that-
done.
Yeah. I haven't.
okay, and we have to, okay, you did say that.
It just happened this week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not just like we put up cones and they're like, well, cones aren't anything.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not like we just put up like the orange, like temporary fence, plastic fence
Right.
in a piece of paper, scotch tape.
Right.
Okay, I'll go take a drive by tomorrow. I still have some ideas. I just wanna look at it exactly, like how far and tall, like from the bottom to the top of the, like that type of stuff, cause I do have an idea of something to do.
Okay,
That would not be very expensive, and we also might be able to see if, county DOT has it available, the thing I'm thinking of, so I'll do a little research and hopefully have a better answer by Tuesday, if not tomorrow afternoon, I'll text you.
great.
Oh, and grant opportunities, the only other one.
Oh, shoot.
Sorry,
Yeah, sorry.
it's okay, we hopped, I just forgot, I wanted to mention this, there is a very large pool of a brand new type of, or a brand new like section of, parks grants for New York State. That 15% has to go to rural townships or communities, so we get kind of like a bonus, points just for being rural here. And I know we just did the project back here, we have had the project, the veteran and the Andrew, I always forget how to say his last name, Memorial Park. That have been redone, and we've mentioned before, and people have asked before about a kayak launch into the creek somewhere in town, like some have said the scenic one, trying to get that one redone, or the one on the Burn Road. And I would really love to look at the possibility and help with the prep work in any way I can to potentially write a grant for us to put a boat launch in at the berm parking lot. Put a kayak launch in where people kind of naturally have been doing it anyway there off of the little seating area, and then redoing that seating area and maybe putting in like the stretching equipment or some type of like micro park in there where the picnic
Right.
tables are, and like
Yeah,
having it redone there, because there's a decent amount of funding, and there's also like another bonus category if it has a water recreation. There's an additional funding pool for like boat launches for recreation.
so for that, we do have our DEC permit in. There is a plan for the kayak launch itself. It will cost the town less than $10,000 to build the structure, but we have been talking about phase 2
Mhm.
would be exactly what you're talking
Yes,
about.
yeah, I knew that we had kind of had something in the
Yeah.
works, but I wasn't sure if we fully set it in stone in motion or anything yet. I knew we had done.
The permit's in, it's taking a really long time to get a response. on it. So I don't know if it's gonna happen this year because of the time that we have to be
Yes,
near,
yeah.
to work near the stream, but yeah.
But yeah, I thought that would be great when I saw that there was a new funding pool, and especially one that like incorporate waterways and like scenic
Yeah.
waterways into the planning of them. Like
Right.
there's kind of two different ones, but New York Place just opened up a kind of a bunch of new categories that they'll let you apply for projects. And those aren't due till I think end of October or November, so we have like a really decent chunk of time to try to get some prep work on it, and it didn't look too extensive, so I just want to make sure I mentioned that one.
Yeah.
Since I saw grants on there.
Okay, great, so then the other matter that I wanted to just share, which everyone the board knows at this point, but that our home rule authority legislation did not get brought to the floor for vote in this session, which adjourned on June 4th. So that is something that we have to try again for next year. And which means on the right side, that we can put the changes in that we were talking about.
Dollar amount, fix the verbiage. Yes, the positive spin is that we have time to make those fixes now, and I just publicly want to say, from this situation, that I want to thank Aaron's office and just the board for the lobbying, the work, the support that we've put into this, and the housing committee has put into this, and your clerks have put into this, and all of the calls and emails and correspondence you've had with our representative and our members up in Albany, and this was not something that the town dropped the ball on in any way. The assembly last year closed on June 17th. I would not have been on vacation the first week of June if I thought the assembly would have closed, and this was a risk of happening. Like
Yeah.
literally, we were told we were good to go all the way through. So I just wanted to say, for the record, thank you so much to you and to our official brother and sister in Albany. 2 days for when you're gonna close session is not cool. Is all I'm gonna say. And I'll see you guys when you reopen.
Yeah.
Cause I will be there.
And then for the, any other matters from the board?
Oh, I just have one question, once the mobile, shed, the food pantry,
Mhm.
shed and fridge are open, are we gonna do another ribbon? Can we do a ribbon cutting for them there?
I think they would-
Or are they doing?
I think
one?
they would do a ribbon cutting.
Yes, yeah, but just
Yeah.
offer to put it on the town website, like how we,
Uh-huh.
for the bath, like, I just think that that's nice if we.
Yeah.
Make sure that. we tell
Yeah,
candidates
it
what's-
definitely-
Things like that.
And that reminds me, I did get correspondence from community member B Haugen about the mobile health
Units,
units that the Ellenville Library is doing, and she had suggested that I reach out and see about it having a stop here. I haven't looked into it yet, but that was something I was gonna investigate.
I did ask the county about that at the housing
Mhm.
forum, because they had mentioned the UCAT, the new mobile one, and I said, are they going to Rochester? They wouldn't answer.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No.
So for June workshop meeting review, the Rooted in Rochester results will be compiled, and there'll be a brief presentation that I will just schedule at the start of the meeting for that. We want to schedule a community meeting for coalition building for climate emergency preparedness. And then we definitely tabled a couple things that I think we'll be working on in that meeting. And then a reminder to the board that we scheduled a special meeting on June 30th at 5 p.m. to interview candidates for the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Committee. And we agreed that that would be held in public.
Yes, did
So-
we get applicants? in?
Yes.
You said like enough to fill, at least to have
Yes.
some options. Cool.
Yeah. Okay,
We'll take it.
and if there's nothing else.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
At 9:21.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. That's all.